Housing crisis is now a top priority, say both the government and the opposition. The Conservatives describe themselves as the party of home ownership, while Labour say they'd focus on building 100,000 traditional council houses. Council or social housing, provided by local authorities and housing associations, was rising in England until 2010. Since then, the number has plummeted and is expected to fall still further. In the final report for our Housing Britain series, our home editor Mark Easton considers the future of the council house.
The Aylesbury estate in South London is often used to symbolise urban decay. Now due for demolition, these former council homes are also a metaphor for the decline of social housing.
Some reckon the council house may soon be consigned to history. The government rarely talks about social renting these days, preferring to lump traditional council homes in a category called affordable housing, which is not the same thing at all.
Social rents are normally between 40 and 60% of average private sector rents in the area. Affordable rents can be up to 80%, often beyond those on low incomes.
Homes for people, not for profit.
At a property conference in London this week, protesters accuse local authorities of social cleansing, replacing council estates with predominantly private housing.
To take away council housing means that more families are going to be on the street or in B&Bs or living out of cars. A baby died in a car the other day.
In 2010, the Conservatives stopped central government funding for any social rented homes. Councils like Southwark are building some, but say government policies to extend right to buy, cut social rents and subsidise homes for first-time buyers makes it harder to provide them.
Everything the government is doing is an attack on social housing and council housing, not just in our borough, across London and across the country. And I don't understand why. What's their problem with council housing?
The answer for many Conservatives is that they believe social homes encourage welfare dependency and increase poverty. It's an argument put forward by the think tank, which is influential in shaping David Cameron's housing policies.
I think it's seen as accentuating a culture of state dependency. I think they want to move away from social renting. I think that's absolutely true, and I think they do want to move much more towards home ownership for people on their incomes.
These houses are almost luxurious.
In post-war Britain, council houses were a reward for the respectable working classes. When they got married, Jean and Reg Brown in Southwark aspired to live in one, and in the 70s they got their wish, moving onto the borough's new Haygate estate. But increasingly such estates were reserved for people with social problems and became associated with deprivation and crime. The Haygate was recently demolished and replaced by a new mixed development, where once there were over 1,000 social rented flats, now there are fewer than 100.
This is much nicer.
Jean and Reg are back. Health problems means they're considered vulnerable enough for one of the few social rented homes here.
If you just had social housing for the most vulnerable, would that be a problem, do you think, Reg?
Yeah, but wouldn't that be like a prison? I think, for the people that you can't afford no more, so you go there. Or you're not good enough.
It's going to make it more class thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Housing is back on the front line of British politics, but while government and opposition agree we need more houses, there's a fundamental divide on the kind of homes that Britain should be building.
Homes for sale or homes for social rent? With Labour promising 100,000 new council homes a year, housing policy is as tribal today as it's ever been. Mark Easton, BBC News.
Let's take a brief look at some of the day's other news stories. £10 million is being made available